right, who's in my Watkins Way kitchen? Olivia.
Hello,
Hi.
Cousin Gary. How are you?
Good. How you doing? What are you doing in my neck of the woods?
Well, you know, I just happen to be in Laguna Beach, so I thought I'd stop by and show you one of my recipes.
What are we
I'm
gonna?
always watching yours.
We're gonna make something with eggs.
We are going to make something with eggs, so we are going to make my famous deviled eggs.
Oh,
Every
wow.
time I go to a party, this is what people want me to bring. It's simple, it's easy, it's a little labor intensive, but nothing too scary or anything.
I noticed this right here. These are we gonna steam these eggs?
We are going to steam these eggs. So here's the thing, you don't have to steam the eggs. You can hard boil them the way that you're used to, no big deal. But if you want to make the shells fall off super easy, not have to, be super labor intensive with peeling them, this is the way to do it. You steam them. So I like to steam them. We want to get the water like hot and boiling, and then we put them on for 15 minutes, not 14 minutes, not 16 minutes, but 15 minutes, and the shells will just fall off. Now, if you're not steaming eggs and you're just hard boiling them the traditional way, which is totally cool, older eggs work best. I know that seems weird. What? Well, don't I want the freshest eggs? No. Old eggs will make those shells just peel right off. It's incredible. So let's get to steaming, yeah?
All right, well, I just noticed here the water's boiling.
The water is boiling.
So let me take this. I don't want you to burn yourself.
Well, thank you.
So what are we gonna do? Are you gonna?
I am going to put these in here, right here like this.
All right, now
Put that lid on. Come right here.
What's the deal? How long are we gonna boil these?
We're going to boil these for 15 minutes. So let's set a timer right now. How do
Not
we
14
do that?
minutes?
Not 14 minutes. We got to set that timer.
Not 16 minutes?
Do you have a timer?
Yeah, I got it set for right now.
All right, perfect.
15 minutes.
I love it. Let's do it.
Okay, now while these are boiling, let's go through the ingredients, Olivia.
All right. Well, we are going supermarket classic today. So Best Foods mayonnaise.
Has to be Best Foods.
Has to be Best Foods.
I knew it.
I'm sure there are better mayonnaises out there, but this is the one for this recipe. Same thing with the Grey Poupon. I'm sure there are better Dijon mustards. I know there are better
We're gonna
Dijon
use Grey
mustards.
Poupon.
Gotta use Grey Poupon.
Grey Poupon. Don't buy anything else.
Then we have white pepper, which I've never used in any other recipe. Have you?
Not. I have, but not very often.
It's not that common,
no, it's
but
not that common.
There's just something about white pepper in this that's kind of the secret ingredient. Also paprika for garnish and a little bit of flavor as well, but they just kind of make it look pretty, and we're gonna sprinkle a little bit on there, which you'll see later. And then parsley. Parsley is also for garnish. Now,
Are you gonna chop that?
no, so this is Italian flat leaf parsley. You can use Italian flat leaf, you can use curly, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
And we're just gonna take a tiny little bit and we'll use it for garnish, which you'll also see. And then a sprinkle of salt. So it's very easy, very basic.
Oh yeah, it sounds real simple.
Chances are, maybe with the exception of white pepper, you already have this in your pantry. We got this.
Well, I tell you what, I love deviled eggs. I'm so happy you came today to Watkins Kitchen.
Oh, me too.
And if any of you guys out there recognize this pretty young lady, she has been in a lot of TV shows, she's done a lot of commercials, and she's been in a lot of movies. Do you remember, I know you've been an actress since you were like 5 years old.
Even younger, but yes.
Do you remember your first movie, what it was?
Well, my first movie was the Brady Bunch movie in the 90s, and I played Cindy Brady.
Oh, okay.
And now I'm really known for my voice acting, so I do a show called Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is very popular, and I play Ty Lee, and a lot of other things. Hey Arnold, I have some projects coming out right now, which I'm not allowed to talk about. But yeah, it's been good. I've been very lucky, and I love acting, and I love voice acting, and I love cooking. So this is the perfect combo.
I know early on, were you in a Star Trek movie?
I was in a Star Trek movie. I was in Star Trek Generations, and I played Picard's daughter for about 2 seconds. If you blink, you'll miss me, but people still love that movie, which I'm very lucky.
Okay, I'm lucky to have Olivia with us today, so let's get busy making our deviled eggs Olivia's way. Has it been 15 minutes?
It has been 15 minutes, so here we go. So we're going to take our eggs off here, and we're going to place them in an ice bath. Now, you don't have to use an ice bath. You can also just put them in, boiling or cold water, run them under cold water. These I'm going to take out because this is a shallow dish.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and do that.
So I'm going to just throw them in here, really gentle. And they are hot.
Yeah. Here, let me hold this for you.
Got it? All right, thank you. And we're just gonna throw these eggs in here. Now, you don't have to leave them in here forever. Like, they're just until they kind of cool off a little bit. I mean, 5 minutes or less. It's not, we're not doing brain surgery here. And then once they're cool, we will start to peel.
And then we're just gonna take all the ingredients and put them in a big bowl.
Well,
Are you gonna,
you'll see.
are you gonna stir them up with a fork?
Oh no, baby.
What are you gonna use?
I got plans for you.
You do?
Patience.
You're mixing me up here.
I know, I like it.
Where is that mixer anyway?
I'll show you. All right.
All right,
so,
are they
they feel
cold?
right. They're just kind of room temp, no big deal.
Oh, yeah,
just
perfect,
feel like a
yeah.
normal egg. All right, so you just get to, popping them off like you do, but see, because
wow. That's coming off really
we steam
good.
them, they come off really easy. Now you do want to be a little gentle because they are going to be for show, and so you want them to
Right.
be, pretty and whatnot. But they just come right off, and you want to make sure when you peel eggs that you always there's always kind of that skin.
I know,
that
yeah.
underlayer,
Yeah.
and so you want to make sure you get all that. But these peel
Oh, that's coming off
so
really good.
much easier than if you regularly hard boil.
Oh, look at that. That just peeled right off.
Really
the
big
bottom
pieces.
will slide right off
Yep,
of there.
right there. And so, sometimes if there's little bits of shell, I'll
Right,
just
you
dunk
just
it in
kind of
water
wash them off a little bit.
There you go. There's one and done.
All right, can I peel one?
Get to it.
All right, so here's the way I do it.
All right.
I do like this, crack that in, and then I go roll them.
Oh.
And then I just kind of work my,
Interesting. A little roll. Okay.
a little roll.
Learning something here.
And see, this comes off pretty good.
Kind of like rolling when you roll garlic.
I like your way better than Watkins' way, though. way better than the Watkins' way.
Well, you've been
All right.
hacked.
I
been
have
Olivia
been
Hack.
hacked
You
by
have been
Olivia
hacked.
Hack.
But yeah, do you
All
see
right.
how easy that is?
Oh, that
when
is.
when you steam them, just
Yep.
right off there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Now, what are we going to do? Are we going to let these set and cool down a little bit more before
No.
we cut them open?
No, in fact, it's actually better to do them a little warm because we are going to mix the yolks.
Okay.
And so it's kind of better if they're not, if they're more room temp. We definitely don't want them to be cold.
Now, are you going to cut them across or lengthwise?
We're going to cut them lengthwise. We're going
Okay.
to cut them like this, and I will give you a whole tutorial on that.
Okay. All right, well, here, let me move some of the shells, and you go ahead and start peeling.
All right, let's get these finished, and then we are on to step
Sounds
number
good.
2.
Stay with us. So, Olivia, I see that you've peeled all the eggs.
They are done, they are peeled, and now we are going to slice them, which is an important part of the process. So you just want a small little knife. I mean,
Okay.
I have small hands, so I use a small knife. You can
Okay.
use a bigger one if you want. And you want to cut them lengthwise. So, as you do, and they should just cut very smoothly and beautiful.
Wow, they look-
Okay.
They
so
look great.
This particular one is gorgeous. So you're going to want a bigger bowl,
Okay.
and you're just going to want to gingerly kind of pop that
Oh, yeah.
yolk in there.
What do you do if the walls are real thin?
Just be very
Just
careful.
be very careful with them?
And the reason that you make a dozen too is that, now see, when I cut this, because my knife wasn't totally clean, there's some on the excess,
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah,
so
yeah,
the
yeah.
thing, which is always true, we eat with our eyes first,
Right,
right?
you do.
So we
That's
want
true.
it to be very pretty. So it doesn't matter how they, so they don't always pop out, perfectly in one little thing, but these you just scoop out. Doesn't matter
Oh,
if
yeah,
they
it
come
looks
out,
great.
whole or not. But you want to make sure that all those edges are clean, all of that.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that. I would have just mix them up, throw them in
You want
there,
it to be very, very clean.
take them to grandma's house and say, here you go.
So, and you can see that these yolks are very yellow. They're not gray at all. Now, part of that is because we steamed them and we just cooked them perfectly. Again, you don't have to
I know,
steam.
because sometimes they come out gray.
They do. And that's usually from overcooking. It doesn't mean your egg is bad or it's going to taste bad. It's kind of just like, you know how when guacamole gets,
Right. Yeah, it gets all brown.
Yeah, but it doesn't taste bad. It's the same thing with eggs.
So remember, you got to steam your eggs for 15 minutes, not 14, not 16. Very important.
And these are just popping out really easy. Now,
Yeah,
again,
they
they
are.
don't always, but that's what you hope for. So as you can see, we're just
Oh, yeah.
going for it. Oh, so what I like to do, hold on one second,
Okay.
is while I'm doing this, instead of just leaving them here on a cutting board, I use an egg dish. Now this is a vintage egg dish, probably from the 40s. You can find these on eBay. You can find them at antique stores. It's a doubled egg dish. These are my ideal way to serve them because they're just pretty. So
Now, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Say you're making eggs and, I'm sure all your family members, Olivia, if you're coming over, bring your eggs.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you chill that plate first before you put the eggs in there?
Well, that's a good question, actually. I don't chill this, but I typically make them a little bit beforehand.
Okay.
And then they will go in the fridge. Now,
okay.
how I put them in the fridge is kind of unique. I will take a glass, so we'll just use this, pretend this is a glass, and then I will tier it, and I will put saran wrap all over this.
Oh, okay,
so that
they don't touch the egg.
Yeah, it's just kind of a little tent. So that's the way that I do it. I'll just take a glass and throw it in there. So that's my little tip, my little hack. So
you could use a shot glass, and then when you get there, you go take the shot glass out and say, "Hey, how about a shot of tequila?"
What shot would go with deviled eggs? Bourbon? They're kind of southern.
Bourbon goes with deviled eggs. Trust me on this. Bourbon goes with deviled eggs.
Bourbon kind of goes with everything.
Bourbon goes with everything.
These have peeled really well. Sometimes you peel them and they're fresh eggs
and that's
whatever.
why you steamed them. You want them to come out perfect.
That is why I steamed them.
You know, a lot of times if you boil eggs, they'll crack while you're boiling them.
It's true.
And then the egg it's no good.
Yep.
So
but
I'm going to steam eggs from now on.
Here's the thing though, if they do crack while you're boiling them and the egg is no good, you can still use the yolk. So don't like totally discard it. Save that yolk. The egg white might be totally trash, but throw the yolk in there. That never hurts anything.
No.
So there we go. So we are almost.
Well, I tell you what, I'm impressed.
Thank you.
You're doing a really good job.
I learn from the best. Okay, Gary. See, now this one I just cut into, and for whatever reason, it exploded. I don't know why. This is actually a really weird thing to happen for it to just break off like this.
Yeah.
But you know what? Whatever. Doesn't matter, and we can still keep the yolk. So we'll just keep the yolk on that and trash the egg. No big deal. Or eat it. So,
here, let me see.
A little bit of protein.
Let's put it in the trash.
Okay. There are like these little yellow pieces, these little bits of egg yolk. And we want to try and clean those off as much as we can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we do want to make them as pretty as possible. So the most, the most that we can get off.
You just want to have the yellow eggs, the mixture in the center with the white around.
Right. They don't have to be perfect, but if there's any little extra crumbs, we want to kind of clean those off with our finger or a paper towel or something. Yeah. But so we're almost there. And you can make these the day before a party. I like to make them day of. They're a little fresher.
You do make them the day of?
I like to. I mean, you can make them the day before, but they get a little kind of more firm, the yolk, and so I like to have them a little more clean.
And they could turn brown a little bit too, or grayish or whatever.
You know, not even. It's just for me, it's a texture thing.
Okay. All right.
I'm a texture person. All right. Now we are ready to add our ingredients.
Okay. Let's get going.
Let's do it. Okay, so now our eggs are peeled, they are cut, we've popped out the yolks, we are good to go. Now we are going to add ingredients.
All right.
So our first ingredient.
Let's get adding.
Our first ingredient is going to be a half a cup of mayonnaise, Best Foods mayonnaise.
Best Foods mayonnaise.
And we are just going to throw that in there, easy breezy, no big deal. And we may have to add a little more, a little less, but this is usually about right. Yeah. And now our next thing is we're adding 1.5 tablespoons of Grey Poupon mustard.
Gotta be Grey Poupon.
Gotta be Grey Poupon. Yeah, don't use any sort of like fancy thing with mustard seeds and all that sort of stuff.
No, don't do that.
Grey Poupon, you want it creamy, you want it nice. 1/8 of a teaspoon of white pepper. So I'm just measuring that out really quick. Okay. And we are just sprinkling that all
You don't
around.
see white pepper used very much in almost anything.
In almost anything. I mean, maybe you would use it in a soup or something.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I'm going to add just a pinch of salt.
Okay.
More.
All right.
I mean, I'm salty. I like salt.
I like salt too. So,
you know, who doesn't like salt? Yeah. What most people do with deviled eggs is they use a fork. I go to people's parties all the time. They'll have deviled eggs and they'll be lumpy.
I know, you don't want it lumpy.
You do not want a lumpy develed egg. People always go, your deviled eggs are so good.
Well, you bite into it and you just taste a big piece of the egg yolk.
Yes.
But you don't get the rest.
Exactly. You get so much of like a chunky part of an egg and it gets real eggy really fast. That ain't it.
So get a hand mixer.
Get a hand mixer. So I start off on a low setting, just number 1.
Okay.
And we just go to town with our hand mixer. so I'm done now. Now the reason I'm done is you can see, leave that because I will scrape those.
Okay.
It kind of just starts to look like, you know, not cookie dough, but you know, almost like a baking thing. Like the texture is very different. See how smooth that is? There's no lumps in that. I mean, it's very, very, very smooth.
It is like a baking thing. It's almost like a type of batter.
Yeah, it looks like a batter. Thank you.
Looks like a batter.
Baking thing, batter. Yes, that word. So we're good. We're good to go with that. So I normally will take these out just because.
Here, let me do it for you.
Push it. Yeah, there we go. So I like to get, you know, as much.
You don't want me to lick that?
I mean,
I always want to lick those
You can,
things.
and I have. I mean, I do kind of do a taste test.
Let me see.
Pretty good, right?
So good.
So, what I do from here, actually, I need more of that because I'm drinking and I didn't eat today.
I know,
Okay.
I was going to take another lick myself.
All right, I did take a shot of bourbon before this.
I didn't want you to drink alone, so I had one with you.
Oh, so kind, so kind. Okay, yeah, so I start very gingerly. I kind of fill them up.
Now, when you get them filled up, if you got a little bit left over, what do you just kind of even it
I
out,
even it
the
out.
rest of it out over the...
Right, so I kind of start out a little halfway. Like that is not full at all, but I just want to make sure that I don't run out.
You don't want to have two empty ones at the end of the day,
exactly,
right?
Exactly,
So,
So I kind of start small, start conservatively, and then I just go from there. So there we go. And I do all this by hand. You know, there's not really a way to do it.
That's why they're so good. You know, that's why they're so good.
Made with love. So there we go. And it really is simple. I mean, and so as you can see, like we're got more than halfway done. We're almost running out of batter, but not quite. And the thing is, if you do run out of batter because, oh, this was something I haven't said, which is really important. When you buy your eggs for deviled eggs, buy the extra large, buy the, you know, grande, like whatever the largest egg you can get is, buy those because they'll have bigger yolks, you know, you'll have more space to work with. It's really important to get the biggest eggs you can
Well, if you're going to work for an hour on this, you want the larger egg anyway. You don't want to do it with a little medium-sized egg.
No, baby, you want to pack a punch.
I know, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's right.
So here we go. And so actually we do have quite a lot of batter left. So you can see why I start conservatively and then you can just kind of build on depending of how much more yolk you have. And sometimes it's not a big egg white, but it's a big egg yolk and you end up having a lot of egg yolk afterwards. So you just kind of feel it out.
If it were me and I had any left over after I couldn't get any more on there, I'd just get a piece of bread and make an egg salad sandwich.
Oh, and I do.
Hey,
it's
why not?
Delicious. So our eggs are done. We have cleaned up any messy edges. They look fantastic. So now all that's left to do is to do the garnish. So we've got a two-step garnish process. We're going to start with paprika and then we're going to finish with parsley. So you're just going to take a little bit of paprika as so, and you're just going to sprinkle it just over the top. Real gingerly, nothing crazy. We're not covering these in paprika.
You don't want to taste all the paprika, right?
You don't want to taste all the paprika, but just, you know, just a little bit here and there. Just nothing wild, but enough to like make a difference, make them look pretty. They do it does impart some flavor, you know. Okay, and there we have it. So very easy, and this is kind of my favorite part. It's a little meditative.
Oh yeah.
And I just take one big pinch and just kind of go all the way around.
I think making deviled eggs is relaxing.
It is. I mean,
you go in the kitchen, pour yourself a glass of wine and make deviled eggs.
Exactly.
Stress level goes right just like that.
As long as you steam them and you're not
As long as you steam them.
As long as you steam
for
them.
15 minutes, not 14, not 16.
So our next step is parsley. You can use curly parsley, which most people are familiar with, or Italian flat leaf parsley. It doesn't matter.
All right.
It's just for a garnish. Now, an Italian flat leaf parsley leaf comes out pretty big. It usually has kind of three prongs. You just want one of those prongs, usually the main prong. And you can just throw it in there, very nice and gentle, no big deal. And it just gives it that extra little bit of color, makes it look a little festive. Can't go wrong. And for me, deviled eggs, I think that they're seasonless. I think you can eat deviled eggs at Christmas. It doesn't matter. I think you can eat them at a summer barbecue. I think they're really all day long.
You could have them in the wintertime. You could have them at Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Christmas would be perfect.
And even, like I said, a summer barbecue, 4th of July, whatever. Like, Personally, I love eggs. So for me,
Well,
you
they're-
can put a poached egg or a fried egg on anything, and I am down.
Your eggs are for every season.
Right, just like me.
Yep, just like you.
So yeah, so there you go. There you have it. I do recommend if you think that you're going to make deviled eggs and it's going to be a dish that you make, I do recommend looking for a deviled egg tray. Sure, you could put these on a plate. It'd be perfectly fine. You could get by with it. They might slide around.
I was
no
going
big
to say
deal.
they'll slide around a little bit.
Yeah. Also, too, on Amazon there are deviled egg like little carrying
Oh,
cases.
okay, so,
yeah, that are
yeah.
in Tupperware, which have a handle that are also very easy. So there's all sorts of options for your deviled eggs. But I do personally think that the vintage deviled egg trays are the prettiest, nicest.
They are. And I like the green. I mean, the green, you know, you got the green parsley, you got the green tray here.
The green is spectacular.
And the yellow looks good.
So there you have it. We have made deviled eggs. We've made a dozen. It makes 24 halves. We don't have all 24 here, but it's a great party. It's a party pleaser.
It looks great. Olivia, what a great surprise. I came into Watkins Bay Kitchen this morning. She's in here already cooking. She went shopping, and look what we got, deviled eggs.
And I would love to come back. Maybe I'll teach you how to make some split pea soup.
You're coming back. I want you to come back. I got a few. I want the split pea soup.
But before that, you've got to try one of these.
Oh, okay.
Let me know what
You got to have one with me.
I'm going to do it. Cheers.
All right, salute. Thanks, Olivia. Guys, please subscribe, comments, good or bad. Let us know. We'll see you later. Take care.
Bye.
So good.